Payday 3 just released, and I'm sure we've all been playing the hell out of it. Well, whenever the servers aren't down, exploring every nook and cranny, building up new strategies, or simply discovering little secrets. Today, I want to showcase all my findings on each heist in the game so far, whether it's a simple Easter egg, hidden loot, or a life-saving tip. Let's start with the very first one. If you're an avid Payday fan, you've probably seen enough of this heist. But did you know that just in front of the bank, in this little sunken area, there is a closed and run-down dental store? Well, considering the gang history with a certain dentist, this has to be an homage to Giancarlo Esposito's character, reminding us that even if he's gone, his actions are still very important for the story. Also, in case you've missed them during the beta, the bank is not holding cash just in the vault, but also in the 3 safes, located behind the bank teller desk, inside the manager's office, and in the room next to the office workers on the 2nd floor. Now, on to the next one. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find anything too interesting in the environment. However, I can give you a heads up which might save you the trouble of running back and forward. The EMP you're gonna need is always gonna be in the crate right in front of you whenever you spawn, so don't forget to pick it up. And while you're on the way to the objective, make sure to set up the path for the armored truck to pass undisturbed by placing the wheel ramps over the gaps and moving any forklift in the way. This way you won't have to worry about doing it while you're surrounded by cops and can fully concentrate on making more early retirements. This one has a lot of interesting stuff that the game either just nudges you about or straight up doesn't tell you. If you're not paying too much attention to what Shade's telling you, you probably won't notice on your first run that the jewelry can actually be sorted to increase its value. All you'll need is to locate the manager, which if you don't change her position with any favor, she'll be chilling next to her portrait of Employee of the Month like Simon Skinner in Hot Fuzz. Once you politely shove her into the scanner inside of the VIP room, she'll grant you access to the machine which will sort out the unsellable jewels from the expensive ones. Instead, if you were paying attention and explored your surroundings thoroughly, you might have discovered a hidden vault, which requires a red keycard and 2 heisters to open. Yeah, well, what if you're playing alone or with a brain-dead team? No worries, just grab the closest civilian and push it towards the button. They will gladly hold it down for you, and the rare stone is as good as yours.
Let's open up the vault!
Lastly, the game will give you the option to light a flare on the street to signal a pickup zone for bile. However, I strongly recommend before you do, make sure you've scanned all of the jewelry and you've moved them to the extraction zone. Because the helicopter won't stay there forever, and if you don't manage to escape before he leaves, you'll have to do some more waiting and have to carry the remaining loot all the way until the riverside. Trust me, you want to take the easy way out. Alright, what's next? Visually speaking, this has to be my favorite looking heist. It also has the best stealth objective, which can be discovered with some simple exploration, but it's definitely worth a mention. To access the VIP area, you're gonna need to lift a keycard from the bouncer. However, he'll always be posted in his position. To lure him out to a much more discreet spot, you're gonna need a distraction. You're gonna have to reach the 2nd floor, tamper with the speakers on the railing, move the DJ away from the control, and upload your Spotify playlist. If you do all of the steps correctly, this banger will play.
Switching out the music got the bouncer's attention. He's on his way to investigate.
If you manage to recover from that peak tune, you might have enjoyed mowing down an army of police units inside that flashy disco while collecting valuables all over the building. You probably made sure to empty the vault from its money and grabbed all the coke in the boxes, however you might still be missing some bags. I highly recommend you check out the second floor lounge rooms, as they hold 4 sneaky paintings you can stash for cash. As a little bonus, in the downstairs bar there's a wall full of stickers. One of them is a couple of spoons, a silver and a golden one. Payday 2 players will immediately recognize them as the comically large spoons that have been added in that game as part of an April's Fool update. In a way, they've made their way in the sequel. By the way, those stickers will be repeated in many heists, so it's possible that you can find them in other ones. It just so happens that this is where I've seen them. Okay, up next is... from one of my favorite heists to probably my least favorite one. I'm sorry, I'm just not a big fan of this one. It's a bit too open and filled with cameras and civilians. Regardless, I still have some tips I can give you. First of all, make your life a lot easier by selecting the zipline bag favor before the start of the heist. Just getting inside of the museum can be tricky because of the amount of civilians and guards roaming the outdoor area. This way, if you're lucky enough, you can even reach the camera room very easily, making your stealth attempt a lot more doable. This heist has a lot of pieces of art you can secure for yourself. However, one of them will require 2 items, a scanner and a flash drive. For the last one, it will always be inside of the safe in the manager office. However, it's not very clear where to find it. It's hidden behind a wooden panel right behind the desk. It may look very obvious from the gameplay on screen, but the first time it took my friends and I so long. Anyway, this information will make sure that it won't happen to you as well. And speaking of the scanner, don't make my mistake and confuse it for a loot bag, throwing it inside of the helicopter, because if you do, there's a good chance that you won't be able to get it back, locking you out of the extra loot. Alright, let's move on. Another fantastic heist where I only have a single tip to give you, but trust me, it's a lifesaver. Just like the previous heist, you want to get the zipline bag. However, this time it's not to access the bank, but rather to make the whole process of moving the money to the roof 100 times easier. Instead of having to travel through the narrow stairs, risking getting sandwiched on both sides, you can simply throw all of your loot on the zipline, automatically bringing it very close to the extraction zone. Once I had learned this from a friend, it actually removed my biggest gripe with this amazing heist. But before you mess up and start some rampage, I recommend you check out this graffiti on this bin located on the sidewalk in front of the bank.
Shadow Wizard Money Gang, we love casting spells.
This heist has a lot of mechanics which may be obvious but not exactly clear from the get-go. Once you reach either the west or east yard, you'll be able to locate any container that contains loot just by the color, as only the white ones will be of interest to you. It's also important to note that if you're planning to stealth this heist, don't think that just because you're performing parkour between the containers the guards won't be able to reach you. They'll happily jump and climb to check out any suspicious noise, so just like any secure area, make sure not to sprint too often.
I don't like the sound of that.
My last tip for this one could be very easily patched in the future, however as of the recording of this video is still working. If you don't feel like going all the way around to secure your loot, you can actually jump and throw the bag by hugging the container from the outside area. This could be extremely useful if you're running out of time on the main loot. However, it might take you some adjusting before you do it constantly on the first try. Once more for our sticker hunt, you can find one with the familiar Teddy move from the No Mercy heist, showing off some sick dance moves on one of those lockers in the computer room. And for the last heist... just like that, we've reached the finale. Well, so far. This one has to be the most interesting both gameplay-wise and lore-building-wise, because if you're a little patient, you can actually eavesdrop on the conversation between the owner of the penthouse and his guests, talking about the Payday gang's most recent achievements.
I want you all to see the predicament. They were supposed to be dead by now. Our best operatives failed on at least 5 counts. I don't even want to calculate the odds of that happening. Yet still, they're not only running around the city, they're on the warpath. They have begun to put the pieces of the puzzle together. They've hit Gold and Sharke. They were behind the cargo dock heist. And now there's an indication that they may be coming here. Do you realize the seriousness of our situation? I hope so. Because mark my words, if we're not extremely careful, someone will die tonight.
That guy is not just for show, by the way. Even if you plan on going loud, make sure that he doesn't escape, because if you manage to bring him to the panic room, you can skip the whole drilling process by making him open the vault door for you. And speaking of the panic room, of course there is some loot inside, but have you noticed that money bundle sitting on the chair? Okay, alright, some of you did, but I bet most of you had no idea there was a hidden pack full of snow right behind this office drawer. I guess it was placed by the same developer which set the default grenade key to G. So that's it. Let me know if any of these tips or secrets were completely new for you, or if they actually helped you along the way of stealing your way back to the top. If you like this video, don't forget to drop a like, which always helps out very much. And if you're interested in more Payday 3 content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Alright, I'm out.